There's a specific kind of loneliness that only certain children know. It's not the loneliness of being physically alone, it's the loneliness of standing right next to someone who's supposed to love you and feeling invisible. You're 7 years old, maybe younger, and already you've learned something that no child should ever have to learn, that your mother's emotions are more important than your own, that her pain is louder than yours, that love in this house is not something you receive, it's something you earn, and you never earn enough. This is what it means to be raised by a narcissistic mother, and if you lived it, you don't need me to explain it. You already know the feeling, the constant walking on eggshells, the shape-shifting to keep her calm, the suffocating sense that you exist only to reflect her light, never to have your own. But here's what most people don't understand. This doesn't just hurt you as a child, it rewires you. And if you don't understand what happened, you'll spend the rest of your life replaying a script that was never yours to begin with. Let's start with what's actually happening psychologically. When a mother is narcissistic, the child becomes an extension of her, not a separate person, not an individual with needs, a mirror. Your job is to reflect back to her the image she wants to see, the perfect child, the obedient one, the one who makes her look good. And when you fail to do that, when you cry too much, need too much, or God forbid outshine her, you are met with coldness, rage, or worse, silence. Psychologists call this conditional love, but to the child, it just feels like a riddle they can never solve. What do I have to be for you to love me? And so you learn to disappear, not physically, but emotionally. You become hyper-aware. You learn to read her face before she speaks. You monitor her tone, her breathing, her mood, because your safety depends on it. You develop something called hypervigilance. Your nervous system is always scanning for danger, even when there is none. And this doesn't go away when you grow up. You carry it into friendships, relationships, jobs. You're always watching, always adjusting, always apologizing for taking up space, because that's what you were taught, that you are too much and not enough, all at once. Now here's the cruelest part. Narcissistic mothers don't always look like monsters. Sometimes they look like victims. She might cry and tell you she sacrificed everything for you. She might guilt you into feeling responsible for her happiness. She might say, "After all I've done for you, this is how you treat me." And suddenly, you're the villain in a story you didn't write. This is called emotional manipulation, and for a child, it's devastating, because children need to believe their parents are good. It's a survival mechanism, so instead of seeing her as flawed, you see yourself as the problem. I'm too sensitive, I'm ungrateful, I'm the reason she's upset. And that belief, that core wound, it follows you everywhere. You grow up thinking that love is something you have to work for, that your feelings are a burden, that if you're just a little quieter, a little better, a little less you, maybe then you'll finally be enough, but you never are, because the problem was never you. Let's talk about what this does to your identity. Most children develop a sense of self through mirroring. Their parents reflect back to them who they are. You're kind, you're funny, you're loved. But when your mother is narcissistic, the mirror is cracked. What gets reflected back is not you. It's her needs, her image, her version of who you should be. So you never learn who you actually are. Instead, you learn to perform. You become the good child, the responsible one, the one who never complains. But beneath that mask, there's a child screaming. What about me? Does anyone even see me? And the answer, for so long, is no. Because in a narcissistic family, the child's role is not to be seen, it's to serve. Psychologists call this parentification. You become the emotional caretaker, the one who manages her moods, the one who sacrifices their childhood to keep the peace. And the world might even praise you for it. You're so mature for your age, but maturity, in this case, is just trauma wearing a disguise. As you grow older, the symptoms become harder to ignore. You might struggle with people pleasing, saying yes when you mean no, giving until you're empty, terrified of disappointing anyone. You might have trouble setting boundaries because boundaries were never allowed. Her feelings always came first. And now, even as an adult, you feel guilty for having your own. You might find yourself in relationships where you're always the giver, where you're over-functioning, over-explaining, over-apologizing, just like you did with her because that's the blueprint you were given. Love is not safety, it's performance. And if you stop performing, you'll be abandoned. Or maybe you go the opposite direction. You become hyper-independent. You refuse to need anyone. You build walls so high that no one can hurt you again. But isolation isn't healing. It's just another survival strategy. And deep down, part of you is still that child, waiting for someone to notice you're not okay. Here's what a narcissistic mother will never tell you, that she was the one who couldn't love you the way you needed, not because you were unlovable, but because she was incapable. Narcissism is a wound too, often born from her own childhood, her own unmet needs. But that doesn't make it your responsibility to heal her, and it doesn't erase what she did to you, because the truth is this: you deserved a mother who saw you, who celebrated you, who made space for your sadness, your anger, your joy. Without making it about her, you deserved to be a child, and you weren't allowed to be. So what do you do now? How do you heal from something so deeply embedded in who you are? The first step is this: witnessing. You have to stop minimizing what happened. Stop saying, "It wasn't that bad, she did her best." Maybe she did, but her best still hurt you, and you're allowed to grieve that. You're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to mourn the childhood you never had, the mother you needed but never got. That grief is not weakness, it's the beginning of reclaiming yourself. The second step, reparenting. You have to become the parent you never had. You have to learn to speak to yourself with kindness, to validate your own feelings, to tell that inner child, "You didn't deserve that. You were just a kid, and I'm here now." This is the work. Not fixing, not pretending, but turning toward the parts of you that were abandoned and refusing to abandon them again. You start small. You let yourself rest without guilt. You say no without over-explaining. You allow yourself to feel. Even when it's messy, you stop performing for love and start believing you're worthy of it, just as you are. And here's the truth no one tells you. Healing from a narcissistic mother doesn't mean you'll stop loving her. It just means you'll stop losing yourself trying to earn hers. You'll stop waiting for her to change, to see you, to finally say she's sorry, because your healing can't depend on her. It has to come from you, and that's not a burden, that's freedom. There's a version of you that still exists, the one who wasn't performing, the one who laughed without checking if it was too loud, the one who cried without shame. That child is still in there, and they've been waiting for you, not to fix them, but to finally see them. So if you grew up with a narcissistic mother, know this: you are not broken, you are not too much or not enough. You were just a child trying to survive in a home where love was conditional. And now, you get to choose differently. You get to build a life where your feelings matter, where your voice is heard, where you are loved, not for what you do, but for who you are. You never had the mother you deserved, but you still have yourself. And maybe, just maybe, that's where the healing begins. Not in her apology, but in your own gentle return to the child you were and the person you're becoming.